Alrighty, so today what we are going to do is design a cable management system for the absolute tangled mess of wires that I now have underneath my desk. So I think this one should be pretty quick. I have a pretty good idea of how I'm going to do this. Uh, I say we just get right into it. So I'm going to essentially create little mounting brackets that snap fit onto the crossbar underneath my desk, and they'll have a hook that I can route all the wires through. So we're gonna create another variation because I have a power brick, um, or sorry, what is that thing called? Uh, I have a the hell is that thing called? Power strip. That's the word I'm looking for. I have a power strip that I also want to kind of mount to one of the crossbars on the bottom of my desk as well. That'll just get me a little bit more length on my wires. Um, so I'm hoping if we make one design aside from the power strip design, we can manage all the cables with several of this one thing that we're going to design, and then we'll figure out the mounting bracket for the power strip later. So I do know that the crossbars are 2 centimeters by 2 centimeters. They're square crossbars on the bottom of the desk. So we can start designing based on that. So I'm going to go to my right plane and create a sketch. I like to kind of do this um, with center lines to begin with at my origin. And just to, I set them at infinite length. So now I have something to make, everything uh, relative to. So I think what I want to do is create the geometry to grab the crossbar. And how I'm planning to do that is basically I could have little fingers, like little tabs. You know what? Let's just throw in a rectangle here and then see what we come up with. So this is gonna be we'll just make this 2 centimeters for now. We'll make we'll make it a square. Oops. And we'll also make this 2 centimeters. And then um, let's figure out. So this is basically our crossbar right now. So we need to figure out some kind of geometry to, you know, make this so that we can grab onto this pretty was a, I want it to grab pretty firmly because some of the cables are going to be, I don't know, whether they might accidentally get yanked on or they're going to be heavy. So one kind of thing I'm thinking about, if we just leave this as a reference for what the crossbar looks like, is we could grab this crossbar if we make something like this. Bear with me for just one moment. And make those guys tangent. And make you tangent to this, kinda. And then you kind of get a little bit bigger. And we can have a nice little line here. No, let's just mirror these about, let's mirror these guys about our line here. Oops. I hate when I do that. Cool. And then, um, let's grab this and we can start trimming stuff. So I want to trim you, 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 so on and so forth. So this is like really obviously loosey-goosey designing, but I kind of want to have something that looks like this, where there's uh because it's 3D printed and it's going to be plastic, we can it's going to be pretty flexible, and if we have these little tabs that are a whole lot uh narrower than the 2 centimeter bracket that we're trying to mount to, they should clamp it pretty nicely. So I don't know exactly what dimensions we'll need for that. Um, that's something that we'll have to figure out as we kind of mess around with this thing. Um, right now it's locked in because this is tangent, so I'm going to make this not tangent anymore. I'll find another way to constrain this thing. Make these not tangent anymore. Royally screw everything up here. Oh, so right now I'm just kind of brainstorming with this and trying to figure out how I can what looks reasonable. So that's kind of what I do with these sketches is I figure out what looks reasonable, um, and then I go from there. So maybe what we'll do is get rid of all this garbage and just say we're gonna have a straight profile like this. That's, I don't know. We'll step it off by 5 thou. And then we'll make this horizontal. Cool. So we can make this guy a little bit longer. Where's my endpoint here? And we'll also make this guy midpoint coincident with our reference line there, so now it should be symmetric. And let's also give this another straight line here, and then do our little circular kind of contact point from there. So this guy and this guy are going to be coincident. I should be able to drag this around and find something I kind of like. We'll trim away you and you. So remember, if this is our crossbar, this 2 centimeter by 2 centimeter square here, any interference that we have designed in here is going to be what creates our clamping force. Um, and that's going to be what holds our cable or our bracket to the crossbar, so that with enough force to retain all the cables that we're going to throw on there. So this is going to be, we're definitely going to have to print one of these just to see how it ends up coming out before we make any decisions on what we like. But we are for certain going to say that this point here is at the very least horizontal with this, or not coincident. I guess it has to be coincident. Why is that? Ah. So this guy and this guy are at the very least going to be coincident, or i.e. horizontal from each other. So the reason being is that I don't want the tip of this to hit my desk. So actually what we'll do is instead of making it coincident, we'll do what we kind of did up there and step it off of this bottom face here by, let's go 0.05 works for me. So how much interference do we want? That's the question. Let's make our lives a little bit easier. Get rid of that thing there. And that way we can mirror this. Let's say that this, the very least, is going to be 0.025. And I think just because it'll look nicer, I want to fillet that there. I'm cool with, sure, cool with that. So now we are, what is locking? Oh, I'm still in the fillet thing. Now we can kind of drag this around and determine possibly how much interference we want. So we can guide that in two ways. We can set the radius and then constrain this point to something. Or I think we should be able to say like how we should set a distance from here and then a radius. So let's do kind of like 0.4 for now. And then we should be able to click and drag this guy around and change our radius on the fly. Let's measure the distance between these two. We want minimum distance here. Okay. Let's also measure distance between these two. And we'll go center to center. That doesn't give me what I want. I want this guy to here, 0.401, and then I can take the radius of this, 0.474. Okay, so that's like 70 thou worth of interference. I think we can go a little bit more than that. Let's undefine this radius. And let's actually set this length to be something rigid for the time being, like 0.05. And now let's, oh, that's coincident. Get rid of that thing. Now we should be able to do something like this. So I guess we're just gonna have to experiment, find out the hard way. Yeah, screw it. We're gonna find out the hard way. So I'm gonna have to just like mock up a design, take some set distance between these 2 points. Let's just set it to 0.25 for now, just because it's a nice round number. Some radius here. Let's do 0.4. What does that do? Too much. 0.35. Okay. Kind of cool with that. Kind of cool with that. And then let's make this guy for construction. As with you. As with you. As with you. You're all for construction. Because those are all reference points now. So, what? Yeah, that is fully defined there. So, what I want to do now is, let's see if I can just offset these in the other direction. Reverse. And 1/10 of an inch. So let's make it a little beefier so we can get some, let's go like, yeah, because I want some good compression. I want some good clamping force on this thing. So we'll step it off 1/10 of an inch, and then we'll just slap a circle in here, and hopefully what you can, oops, hopefully what you can see now is that I'm going to create a profile that we're going to extrude. And you guys should be tangent. And then we'll trim this thing away. And let's, just for funsies, let's fillet this thing. And we don't care really about filleting that. That doesn't matter much at all. Then we can mirror you, and you, and you, you, and you, and you, and you, you, and you. All about this thing. So this should be an enclosed feature now. And I went a little crazy with the dimensions. I don't normally do this many, but what I'm doing here, the reason why I kind of mirror things like that is because now I only have to change dimensions here and then it updates for the whole assembly. So it just makes my life easier. And it ends up looking like a mess in this configuration here, but that's why we do things that way. And then we'll extrude this thing. Let's make it, for sake of nice numbers, let's also make it 2 centimeters. Okay. And we have our really messy, what is all this about? Oh, we must have a profile in there. We must have a profile in there that I missed. Do I have to, let's just delete all these lines, because it's not doing what I want it to. We'll just redraw them and redimension everything. And why are you not enclosed? Oh. Psych. Bring the lines back. Bring the lines back. You are the issue. Get out of here, dude. Does this exist on the other side too? It does. Now we're enclosed. I was wondering why that wasn't working before. Cool. Whoa! This thing needs to be that thing. No thin feature. No, you are going to be here. Why are you doing that? Okay, let's delete this. Cancel. There's a parent-child thing here that I need to... Okay, now I should be able to delete this. Okay, keep the sketch. Cool. Now we should be able to go extrude boss base. Much better. And then we said that this is going to be 2 centimeters. And again, the idea is to print a whole bunch of these, right? So we'll print a whole bunch of these. So if we need we can kind of slide these around on that crossbar and get them to match up in the locations that we want to hold all of our cables in place. So let's save all to my PC. I don't want to save it to prints. I don't want to save it to cable management. And this will be clip. We'll just call it clip. So we have our interface for our whatever we want to call this thing, our crossbar, as I've been referencing it. So now we need to figure out how we can loop cables through here. I think I want to do that by let's go back into this. We can do it in here. We can do it in here. So let's do this. We're gonna have a circle that does something like that, and then another circle that's concentric with it that does something like that, and we'll define we'll say that these you can be let's do this. Let's see how nicely this works out. You can be tangent with that. And what's not defined here? The radius. Okay, so we need to figure out the radius. I want the radius to match. Give me this point. Give me this point. Oh, I want the circles to be. Ooh. So we need to find this. And I kind of like. I kind of like the idea of making this. What happens if we do 2 centimeters divided by 2? Which, holy shit, is 1 centimeter. Crazy. Crazy idea there. Now let's make a line here. Let's make it a construction line. That's gonna go, oh, center line. You're gonna go from, stop doing that, man. Stop doing that. Why are you making it tangent by default? You're not tangent. You're gonna be horizontal. Actually, not horizontal. Let's do this. Let's get super fancy. Put a center line through here and we'll make them parallel. Oh, how cool is that? How cool is that? And then let's say that you are some distance off of here. Let's say that you're 0.15. So hopefully you can see what I'm getting at here. Probably not at all. We got to figure out how thick our cables are. And actually, instead of these being parallel, I see. Yeah, these shouldn't be parallel. They should be equal length, though. Imagine. Yeah, okay, that's better. They should be equal length. Okay, so let's finish doing this. And then we're gonna trim you up. And then we're getting rid of you, getting rid of you, getting rid of you, getting rid of you, getting rid of you. Check it out. Now, loop our cable into this thing. How cool is that? Tell me it's cool. Please, I need your validation. How thick are most cables? How thick are our thickest cables here? Because we need to accommodate our worst case feature. Looking like, sorry, I'm probably really loud right now. That's 1/4 plus 1/16. So we're gonna make 5/16. So let's do this. If 5/16 is our 5 divided by 16. 5/16 is our limiting or guiding factor here, plus point, I don't know, let's make a standard clearance point 0.05. Sweet. Not very different from what we had before. Continue. Close. What are you mad at? What is... Whoa! We're gonna control Z away. Control. Okay, so you're happy now. You appear to be happy now. Ah, it's because I broke the mirror. I broke the mirror. Because this guy is no longer symmetrical. This guy's symmetrical. So what else is not symmetric? You. You're not defined as symmetric. What's the problem? Cool. Well, when life gives you lemons, you squeeze the shit out of them until they give you juice. Okay, now what did that break? Uh, we lost this. I think we lost this. Um, we lost. Oh, did we lose our radius? We lost this thing. Oh, breaky breaky. Okay, so let me just see how I break this thing if I start clicking and dragging. Well, ah, so what was this point? Why aren't you? Okay, let's control Z, control Z. Go back to the. Let's go back to the working version of this thing. Okay, those are what's defined. So delete you. Ah, this guy was the other thing that we defined. And we just should have to just close this thing up now. It's really mad about that still. Because you're not. Okay, I should just be able to say that these are horizontal. And yeah. And then I should just be able to say that this is some set distance. And it's locking everything up. This is where you get into relationship hell in SolidWorks world. It's no bueno. No bueno at all. What is going on here? So you can. Oh, you just need to be horizontal. Oh. Yes. Yes. We've solved it. We've solved the problem. Sweet. Sweet. So, pretty happy with this. You know what? Just for funsies, what we'll do is we'll model our 2 centimeter crossbar so you can. Well, it's just gonna look like it's smacking into the crossbar, so it doesn't really matter that much. But I'm kind of content with that. We'll leave it here for now. This is a nice quick one. But yeah, so this is again for reference. We're gonna snap these things onto our crossbar, and then we're gonna slot wires into these uh, little loops here, or these rings, and that should allow us to route all of our wires around the bottom perimeter of our desk and hide them all nicely. So we will print a couple of these, test fit them, and see how it ends up coming out. We'll go from there. All right.